Your brain says terrible things to you. Quiet, fast, out of nowhere, standing somewhere high, holding something fragile, sitting in a silent room full of people, and you have never told a single soul because you're pretty sure that if anyone heard the stuff that flashes through your head, they'd back away slowly, so you carry it around like a secret. Today, I'm going to ruin that secret, because the research on this is very clear, and it says something almost nobody knows. The darker the thought and the more it bothers you, the more normal you probably are. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your brain does this and what the 7 most common dark thoughts actually mean. Fair warning. Number 4 is the one nobody will say out loud. First, the number that changes everything. Researchers have been quietly asking ordinary people about their intrusive thoughts since the 70s. Not patients, regular people, teachers, nurses, grandmothers. Around 9 out of 10 admit to them, and the content is nearly identical to what shows up in clinical disorders. Same thoughts, same weird flashes. The difference was never the thought, it was how much the person panicked about having it. So let's get one rule on the table before we start the list. You are not your thoughts. You are the one listening to them. The proof is your own reaction. The horror you feel when a dark one lands, that's your values talking. A person who actually wanted to do these things wouldn't flinch. You flinch every time. Remember that, because the list gets dark, and every single one flips the same way. Number 1. You're standing somewhere high and a quiet voice says, you could jump. A balcony, a bridge, a subway platform. You'd never do it. You don't want to. And yet there it is, calm as a weather report. The French call it the call of the void, and researchers at Florida State studied it directly. About half of people report it, most of whom have zero desire to die. Their explanation is almost funny. Near an edge, your survival system yanks you back before your conscious mind even notices. Then the slow part of your brain sees you stepping away and tries to reverse engineer what just happened. Why did I back up? Did I want to jump? It misreads its own safety alarm. So the whisper on the ledge is your survival instinct moving faster than your thoughts can follow. The people who feel it most are, on average, the ones with the strongest grip on the railing. Number 2. Someone you love is perfectly fine, and out of nowhere, your brain shows you their funeral, what you'd wear, who you'd call first, the speech. Then you snap out of it and feel like the worst person alive. You're not. This one is a rehearsal. Your brain runs disaster simulations for the things it cannot afford to lose, checking a single question. Could I survive this? The people you love most get simulated the most because they're the biggest thing on the board. And there's a tell that gives the whole game away. What do you feel right after? That sudden urge to call them, to be nicer. Researchers found that imagining loss reliably makes people more grateful, not more morbid. Your brain kills them off in a daydream so you'll pick up the phone in real life. It's a brutal way to be reminded you love someone. It also works. Number 3. You're somewhere completely silent. A meeting, a funeral, a wedding, row 4 of a church, and a thought strolls in wearing a party hat. What if I just screamed? What if I said the worst word I know, right now, at full volume? The quieter the room, the louder the offer. Psychologists file this under the imp of the perverse, and the mechanism is simpler than it feels. To not do something, your brain first has to represent doing it. It builds a quick model of the forbidden act just to steer around it, the same way you can't avoid a pothole without looking at it. High stakes plus total silence means the model gets rendered in high definition. That flash of screaming isn't an urge, it's the steering calculation. You were never going to scream. Your brain was just triple-checking where the pothole was. Number 4, the one nobody says out loud. You're holding something precious and fragile. Someone's baby, an expensive glass, your phone over a bridge railing, and the thought arrives, cold and specific. What if I just dropped it? Sometimes worse. Sometimes it's a knife in your hand in the kitchen, and the flash is so ugly you put the knife down. Listen carefully. Harm flashes like these are the single most commonly reported category of intrusive thought in the research. New parents get them about their own babies at staggering rates, and it terrifies them, and they tell no one. The mechanism is risk assessment. Your brain flags the worst possible action available in the moment, precisely because it's monitoring against it. The flash is the security system printing out the threat report, and the distress you feel reading it is the strongest predictor researchers have that you would never act on it. The parents most horrified by the thought are the ones holding the baby tightest. Number 5, you're one click from something irreversible. Send on the risky message. Delete on the folder with everything in it. You're mid-presentation and a voice says, you could just walk out. Quit. Burn it down. Your brain loves offering you the nuclear option at the exact moment it would cost the most. Same engine as the quiet room. Your mind maps every exit, including the catastrophic ones, because a map with roads you'd never take is still a better map. But there's a bonus payoff on this one. That flash is also your brain marking what matters. It only rehearses destroying things that are load-bearing. Nobody gets sabotage whispers about stuff they don't care about. So when the voice says burn it down, you can read it backwards. This one's important to me. Noted. Moving on. Number 6. It's the middle of the night, you're almost asleep, and your brain hits play on that thing you did years ago. The wrong reply all. The joke that died. The name you got wrong at the worst moment. Nobody else remembers it. Your brain has it in 4K. This is your threat system again, but pointed backwards. Social rejection used to be life-threatening for humans. Getting kicked out of the tribe was a death sentence, so your brain files embarrassing moments as survival data and reruns them to make sure the lesson stuck. The replay is a training tape, and the reason it's always the cringe and never the compliments? Compliments carry no instructions. There's nothing to rehearse in that went well. Your brain isn't torturing you. It's studying film like a paranoid coach, which is annoying at 3 a.m., but it does mean the archive exists because your brain thinks your reputation is worth protecting. Number 7. You locked the door, you watched yourself lock it. And 40 seconds down the street, your brain says, did we lock the door? The stove. The email. Did I say something horrible at that party? The checking thought that will not close. This one comes down to how memory actually works. Routine actions get recorded on autopilot, thin and grainy, because you've done them 10,000 times. When your brain audits the tape and finds a low-quality file, it flags the whole event as unverified. The doubt isn't evidence you failed. It's evidence the recording was boring. And notice what your brain chooses to audit. The door, the stove, the people you might have hurt. It only doubt loops the things where being wrong would actually matter. The loop is obnoxious. The priorities behind it are weirdly noble. So look at the whole list, because all 7 run on the same engine. The ledge, the funeral, the scream, the drop, the burn it down, the replay, the doubt. Every single one is your threat detection system doing its job, and your conscious mind walking in halfway through and misreading the room. Your brain is a simulator. Its job is to render bad futures before they happen, so you can route around them. It shows you the fall, so you step back. It shows you the loss, so you call your mom. It shows you the scream, so you don't scream. The dark thought is the simulation running correctly. The suffering starts at step 2, when you see the render and conclude something is wrong with the projector. Nothing is wrong with the projector. You just weren't supposed to see the rough drafts. Which brings us to the famous experiment. In the 80s, a psychologist named Daniel Wegner sat people down and gave them one instruction. For the next 5 minutes, do not think about a white bear. You already know what happened. Bears everywhere. Then it gets better. When those people were later told they could think about the bear, they thought about it far more than people who'd never been told to suppress it. Trying to block a thought puts a bounty on it, because to enforce the ban, your brain has to keep checking whether you're thinking about the thing, and the check summons the thing. This is why fighting intrusive thoughts makes them stronger, and why the people who panic hardest about a dark flash get the most reruns of it. You cannot win a wrestling match against your own security system. Stop wrestling. So what do you actually do? 3 moves, and none of them is think positive. 1. Name it as it happens. Quietly, in your head. Oh. Intrusive thought. Labeling moves the activity from the alarm system to the observing system, and studies on this are consistent. Named feelings lose voltage. 2. Let it sit there. Don't argue with it. Don't analyze it. Don't ask what it means about you. It's a smoke alarm, and a smoke alarm going off at burnt toast doesn't need a house meeting. You say, thanks for checking, and you open a window. 3. Watch it leave on its own. Thoughts you don't fight dissolve in seconds. Thoughts you fight get a lawyer and a sequel. That's the entire skill. Notice, allow, release. The masters of this aren't people with quiet minds. They're people who stop treating every alarm like a verdict. So here's what I want you to take out of this. That secret you've been keeping, the flashes you thought disqualified you from being a good person, 9 out of 10 people in line with you at the grocery store are carrying the same ones. The ledge whisper, the funeral, the scream, the drop, all of it, running quietly behind millions of calm faces. You were never broken. You were eavesdropping on your own security system and mistaking the threat reports for confessions. The dark thought was never the truth about you. Your horror at it was. And if your brain is already replaying this video and wondering whether liking it means something is wrong with you, that's number 8. We'll cover it eventually. If one of these 7 made you feel less alone, you'll like it here. I explain the quiet stuff hiding underneath everyday life. Subscribe and stick around.